What I'm going to talk about is about the community policing and what we do in Madrid Municipal Police about community policing. And we have some services which are into the police community policing criteria. And one of them is the school cops. I don't know how to translate it, so we are adapting about cops, but I think most of you understand our labor like school cops. So anyway, I'm going to develop the functions and what we do. And the citizens assistance officers and the service of mediation carried by police officers, and everyone has in common that we try to work as multi-agency work. So, as my colleague said, our police was created in 1838. We are currently more than 6,000 police officers, and we are the biggest local police force in Spain. And what's community policing? I think all of you more or less understand what we are referring when we are talking about community policing. Is we can say, for instance, that the work of police officers can be carried on as a proactive service or a reactive service. So when we are talking about community policing, we are talking about proactive service. We are trying to engage with the community, with the citizenship, to get a commitment with them and the police neighbors associations, and the third
shop owners.
No, ONGs are the third sector, and the third sector. And the police objectives focus on public safety, reducing fear of crime, improving social relations and coexistence. One of the most important things is to get a good coexistence between among the neighbors, and the police has a very important task to do about it, and the quality of life in the community. So what we work for: crime prevention, reciprocity between community and police, and we work on the centralization of services. This is the borough of Madrid. Here we have 21 districts, but police for us is 22 district units because center is split into. That's it. So we work with educational community, all related to the schools and colleges, social resources, street activities, institutions, and public and private organizations. As I said, the third sector, for example, is very important to us. And the philosophy is the proximity, inclusion, opening, flexibility, public service, and devotion, which is commitment with the population, with all the neighbors of the city. The first branch of our service is the citizens assistance offices, and that is a communication channel with citizens. What we try to do is to get a permanent link with all the citizens, not only the associations, but the citizens are individuals, as individuals. We deal with any communication or request for non-urgent service related to coexistence in the boroughs, and we have the offices in every one of the 22 police district units, and we have as well some offices, mobile offices, in which we can provide some assistance to the citizens. We used to place them on areas with high concentrations of people or especially interest places of the district. And the principles of actions was, as I've told you, proximity, inclusion, opening, flexibility, commitment, public service, and so on. Started in 2002 when we created an experimental unit of volunteers whose job was to interface with the other existing services to serve minors in the setting of a school and outside of the school. That's the reason, because we don't know how to refer to this service, because school cooks is very easy to understand, but we work with minors not only in the schools, not only the problems related to getting in, out, or in the schools, but everything related to minors. Many of these minors are immigrants, and police mentor unit formed by local policemen and policewomen is now consolidated as from 36 agents in 2002 to overdone. Actually, we have 160 agents in this year, more or less. It's not always the same number of agents, but we have distributed all of them through the different districts in order to decentralize this service. We have awarded some awards, and for example, one of them were given by UNICEF in Spain in 2010, and for the work protecting children and young people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days per year. And we work with conflict children on integration, mediation, care, and protection. The agents that work in this kind of service, they have to have a specific profile in social and communication skills. They have to be on voluntary service. Is formed by officers that love to work with minors, or they are specialized in some formation or some education related to minors, and they have to have availability, previous training related to the police mentors school. And about the training, they have a basic training and a special course for this kind of task, but they have a specialized training related to all related to minors. They are obligated to take part in retraining related to this and the specialization course, and the training is a priority for these police officers. The basic functions are on school-based prevention, child protection, and the police officers as judicial police, working with attorneys, with the judge, courts, and so on. But in the district, what we used to do, what we do the most, is the relationships with the teachers or with all the members of the educational community, as the parents, mother and father of the students, or the family, and the students by themselves. On the street, they work related to the new technologies, with the environment, demands from diverse institutions, and we work in protection of children in all areas. Yes, with educational community and the laws, and we coordinate with the rest of law enforcement agencies and with other local and public services. For example, I have to talk about the bully-free zones. That is a program related to prevent the bullying in the schools, in which what we do is not only the police actuation or denounce or related to getting to the attorney or the courts. What we do is, first, we try to train some selected students in mediation techniques. And what we do is a peer-to-peer assistance system formed by the students to help other students to avoid bullying situations and in coexistence and this kind of stuff. What we try to do is preventing crime by implementing or getting some courses forming the students to solve their problems. Related with this is the service of police mediation, and what we do is training some police officers in mediation techniques. We offer this to the educational community in schools and the colleges, but in the neighborhood as well. And what we do is when we have a problem in the neighborhood, what we try to do is to offer them a solution to solve definitely the problem. What we think is the denounce itself is not always a solution. When we have a coexistence problem, the best way for solving it is to try to people to understand by themselves and to try to carry in a solution to solve definitely the problem. And in these cases, what the mediator do is to help them to find a solution. So this is the protocol that we used to do, and to try to find an agreement. Who can ask for our mediation? Any person, member or related to the school environment, as I said, any citizen who show a legitimate interest arising from a conflict between neighbors or members of the local community. And the mediation is performed by Madrid municipal police officers who are members of mediation work teams, trained and qualified to carry out these functions. Kind of disputes, occupation and use of the public spaces, incidents at school centers, especially those where a minor is involved, neighborhood problems, inconveniences of any kind, smoke, music, alarms, unpleasant doors, roadworks, etc. And all of the problems related with the cultural diversity and diverse society. How to apply, as I said, with the offices is online, personally, by email. Citizens can apply as they want. And finally, what we try to do with these services, we would like to make a network with all the institutions or the services related to this to obtain intelligence. We need to share information to get some information, and this kind of information is got by the commitment among the people that performs the different services. How we did start it with the directory of stakeholders, agencies, services, regular and periodic meetings with them, building up mutual confidence gradually. This is very important because services are held by people, and the relationship between people is very important. And letting others do or know, sharing with other police forces, avoiding conflicts of competences of jurisdictions. And finally, this is the last one, the pros and cons of this way of understanding the police work is that we have the pros. We have a proactive policing, very close contact with citizens. It's an excellent source of information, and we try to get to the root of the problem. What's the problems, the cons? We usually, most of policies have a reactive culture of policing. It's very difficult to implement the implementation equally in all the districts, in all the departments. So we have an unequal implementation. Sometimes we have lack of commitment for part of the institution, and this kind of work is highly dependent of professional and personal skills. So this is all. So thank you very much